In Too Deep. This is the In Too Deep radio show with your host, Deeper One, where we discuss driving excellence, evolution, power, and energy refined into one mind, body, and soul.
What is good, Deeper Ones? This is the In Too Deep show. So y'all might be wondering what happened to the Deeper Love podcast. Well, let me explain. If you listen to the show, you would have got a little bit of idea on the last episode what was happening with the change. I changed the show from the Deeper Love podcast to the In Too Deep show because as I progressed in every episode in last season, I learned a lot. And over the course of, new people that, I've been inspired by, I also became a certified professional life coach during that time. And I'm also working my way to my master life coach certifications. So I've learned quite a bit over the course and the growth of this podcast last season. Learned through comments and responses and interviews of people that were, that guest hosted the show, the deeper ones, people that's, my true fans that listen. And I had decided that you can't just talk about love because there's so much that goes into it and there's so much that wraps around it just based on self and beliefs. And you just can't, because I've found that a lot of people need to look at self before they even think about love. So that's where we are. So the show has now kind of what we talk about going forward, and what the show is about is, oh man, sorry now. Oh, my coffee. I have to get my coffee over here. Is we're going to dive deep into love and relationships, personal development, and male, female, social, and power dynamics. Now, towards the end of last season, we kind of started getting into some of the male-female dynamics and some of the social and power dynamics. One of the notable episodes is the episodes about leverage, and it opened a lot of people's minds. So that's what we're here to do. We're here to drive excellence and evolution. You know it. So today's topic on the first episode. Oh, by the way, this season is going to be hype. I'm just going to warn y'all, this season is going to really hurt some feelings, but it's going to be truth. We're going to face truths that people don't want to face and get them in their feelings. But that's really the only way sometimes that you can really send the message and get the message across clear to people of a change that they may need to make to better their lives and get out of certain situations that they keep finding themselves in. So it's going to be an exciting season. Season 1, I kept it light, as the first season, as y'all really tried to get to know me and what I was about and everything. So let's go. Today's topic is going to be about this question. Does who you date say something about you? And that's an interesting question, isn't it? Because a lot of times what I've found, including myself, have been guilty of this. When I've broken up with an ex, I have found myself in my feelings. I've had negative things to say. If the relationship ended badly, not all of them did. Good majority of them did, not all of them. And I see, especially in my Instagram, people posting a lot of memes, talking about their exes and, and how much better they were, and posting a lot of memes about related to prior relationships that is targeted, to people in their private relationships. And what I get from that is some of these people need to do a little bit of shadow work, need to do a little internal work. And they don't realize it. And so they're sitting here just kind of going through, oh, well, my ex did this, or if they didn't do that, or they need to learn how to do this, and blah, blah, blah. Y'all seen them. I don't got to go deep into it. Y'all seen them. But what y'all don't understand, who you date says a lot about you. A lot. And if you continuously date the same people, the same kind of people, oh, it's really telling us a lot about you. And it's time to look inside of yourself and say, hold up. Maybe there's something up with me. Relationships mirror the relationship that you have with yourself. Say that again. Relationships mirror the relationship you have with yourself. This might be part of the reasoning as to why you have found yourself in a series of not so great relationships. Because the relationship with yourself is trash. Now, if the relationship with yourself is going to be trash, you should probably expect the relationship with another human being is going to be trash as well. When you got an unhealthy relationship with yourself, you're having an issue finding your true identity within yourself. And you're looking to the relationship and the person in the relationship to define you. And that is not great. And think about this. If you're looking for the other person to define you and the other person ends up being trash, what would that make you? Right? So you can't do that. I mean, I guess you can, but you shouldn't. And so what happens is when these relationships end, there's a level of resentment there towards the other person. And what I'm finding a lot of the times too is that because they've chosen certain people and they're looking for certain people to define them, that they really don't understand that their lack of having a good relationship with themselves adds to the reason as to why the relationship didn't work out. You see, you're gonna find a lot of things out real fast when you're in a relationship and you do not have a healthy relationship with yourself. One of the things you figure out is you might be selfish. Some don't figure it out. Some do. Some do. The pressure that you put on a relationship then starts to mount when you're in an unhealthy relationship with yourself, because now you have put on the shoulders of your partner the job to make you happy, because you're not doing the job. So somebody's got to do it, right? So might as well be them if it ain't you, right? I mean, it seems like that's the logic going on around here these days. And we jump into these relationships expecting someone to make us happy. And a lot of the times we end up getting disappointed. And that translates into, a lot of times people saying, well, they didn't love me correctly. I hate that line. I hate it. And I'm going to tell you why I hate it. Because this has a lot to do with that. If someone isn't loving you correctly, as I'm saying in the title of this show, does your date say something about you? What should that tell you? That should tell you that you aren't loving yourself correctly, right? If someone's not loving you correctly, that probably means, for the most part, you are not loving yourself correctly. And if you got to tell somebody to love you correctly, you're most likely with the wrong person. Most likely with the wrong person. And what does it tell you about yourself? We are a reflection of who we date. Period. So you listening to this podcast and you in a relationship, you need to look in your relationship and look at it and say, well, this is a good one. Maybe I feel good about myself. I got a good one. But if it's trash and you got continuous problems, it's time to take a look inside first. Now, this is not to say that your partner, if your relationship isn't going great, is not playing any role in the fact that the relationship is not going great. It's just you looking at this issue within self to say, this is a major contributor to what's going on. Because if you don't have a good relationship with yourself, how do you think that you're going to be able to treat another person? Now, a lot of you try to substitute with that with being a little extra. Some of you be buying your partner in relationships. You be, trying to take care of them, buying them stuff and being overly loving and overly affectionate because you think that is going to be returned to you the way you gave it out. Most of the time, it could. Other times, it won't. Because the other person's not trying to overcompensate for anything if they have a healthy relationship with themselves. So they're not going to turn around and be like, well, I'm going to overdo it the way she did. And that's where a lot of you get disappointed. You can't You can't do that because you're setting yourself up for failure. You're setting yourself up to get your feelings hurt because you now expect that person to love you, quote unquote, in the way that you love them and trying to give them more so you can fulfill the void that you have inside of yourself. You want that person to fill your cup completely instead of you already having something in your cup. And when they disappoint, and they will, now you have issue. That is not healthy. That is not good. And you got to look at your you got to take let's take a minute. I tell the fellas all the time that damn, this coffee's good, y'all. I'm telling fellas all the time that your woman is your representative. And ladies, I want you to listen to this and how important this is. And take a look at your mans. Take a look at your current mans. Take a look at your ex-mans and ask yourself, do you or did you want and was happy being, and proud of being that man's representative? Ask yourself. I was in a relationship with somebody who was very insecure. And one of the things that she used to tell me is that, well, you don't show that you're proud of me, or you're proud to have me, or you don't show me off. All these kind of insecure things that was happening, that she was saying. And even though a lot of it wasn't true, she put it in her head that it was that way because she wanted it to be the way that she wanted it to happen, that she wanted me to do it. So one day I finally said to her, I said, listen, you haven't made that easy. You haven't given me the peace of mind. You haven't, there are a few key things missing. And I'm supposed to have you represent me? No. The way that you have acted out online, whether it was in our current relationship or whether it was in the past relationship, people are going to look at you. When they see you with me, they are going to dissect you because the woman that you're with is your representative. And that woman tells people a lot about you as a man. And you are supposed to represent me. And if I'm not fully happy in the relationship with you, I'm supposed to go out of my way to use you as my representative when I'm unhappy with some factors in a relationship that you weren't really trying to fix. That's important. That is important. And ladies, on your end, you must understand that you are that representative. That's you. So how you act, how you carry yourself, feeds into all of that. Do you like being the representative of the man that you are with? Is he a man that you're proud of? You're proud to show off. You are proud to represent. I really want you to think about it. And when I hear people talk about their man and their relationship issues that they have, I realize that the person that they're with is a pure reflection of themselves. Now, they don't realize that, but it's time to realize it. Who you date is a reflection of you. Now, sometimes I'm going to say there might be some outliers, the occasional exception, because sometimes we can't help who we fall for. But once we realize that we fell for someone that doesn't exactly fit us, and we continue to be with that person, does that say something about you? Is you saying that, oh, I'm going to give this person a chance even though they don't exactly fit? What does that say about you? Could it just be because you're like, you know what, I just want to, I want to give this person a chance. I want to give this person the benefit of the doubt. Could it be if you did that, it's showing that you are a compassionate person, you're an understanding person? What could it be? But it does say a lot about you. And if you are out here continuously, for the ladies that be hollering, there ain't no good men, y'all need to hear this message more than anybody. Because you're out here dating us men, and you're continuously dating us men. So if we are all not shit, what does that say about you? It says a lot. Because you keep habitually choosing men that are not good for you. And that's showing that you need to do some work on self. Period. Man, I'll tell you, it's wild out here. Really look hard into the person you're with. And when I'm coaching people, and I'm coaching people who are having relationship issues, a lot of the time, especially ones that are trying to exit a relationship, people are not looking very hard at themselves, and they're looking very hard at the other person. And as we talk through things, they begin to understand that some of the things about themselves, some of their feelings, some of their beliefs are at play in why the relationship is not working. And they then discover that, well, shit, I really got to do some work on myself. Like, they realize that they have unresolved traumas. They realize that they have demons at play. And they're like, oh. And I'm like, yeah, it's time for some therapy. You need to go get some therapy. Look back at the people that you're choosing to be with. Says a lot about you. And if they've all been a string of bad partners, then it might be time to put some work in on yourself. Says a lot about you. A lot. I know it's an eye opener for some of you. I get it. But it is the way it is. You can't avoid it forever. I mean, you can, I guess, for a while, but you can't avoid it forever. So, fellas, remember, you need to pick wisely because your girl is your representative. Go look at her and say, is this what I want representing me? Am I proud of this? Now, ladies, you can't do that because you're not your man's representative. That's just not how this works. You're his. But what you need to look at and understand is that people are looking at you and they're critiquing you to read him. And they're trying to figure out things about you to figure him out. It's time to choose smartly out here, y'all. But that's going to conclude the first episode of the show. Oh, man. I'm going to be pumping out the episodes. I got content for days. Now, on season 1, I let time go by and, I probably should have had like double the episodes than I did. But it's been Corona year. It's just been a rough year. But I'm really trying to keep the content going because that's the growth right now. The content. I want y'all to go check out my Patreon. I am on Patreon. Just go to patreon.com/deeper1. Or if you're on there, just type deeper1 in the search and you'll find me. On Patreon, I have more in-depth content than what I put out everywhere else. More in depth. I will be doing live streams on Patreon. I will be having discussions on certain posts that I bring from Instagram that we can discuss. And also I got a Facebook group coming called The Deeper Ones. It's going to be a place where we can just have conversations. And sometimes on Instagram that is hard to be able to do, and we can only keep it short. Keep it with short comments, but it's time to go deeper, y'all. That time is now. And so Patreon and Facebook, my Facebook group, The Deeper Ones, is going to be a place where we can go deeper, where we can figure out some answers. As I told you in the beginning, this year I became a certified life coach. So I do life coaching. I hate the term life coach, but it is what it is. I'll probably call it something else. That sounds a little cool to me, but I am. And if you feel like that you need some help, some coaching, some instruction, some guidance, let me know. Hit me up. You can email me at tony@deeper1.com if you are interested, and we can have a discussion and see what's popping, what we can do for you. But otherwise, those of you, I encourage you, if you need some serious help, to get yourself a therapist. Get a therapist. A therapist is going to be able to set up a plan for you, a guidance for you to deal with your traumas and deal with your demons and help you figure out a way to move past them and, let them go. Let them go. It's been helpful. so helpful. I've spent many years of my life in therapy, and I wouldn't be the man that I am today without it. So I suggest y'all go get that. Remember, who you date says something about you. It's time to start thinking about that person you're laying up next to, or that person you're trying to get with, or your type. You out here chasing your type. Do you want to represent your type? A lot of you finding out no. But this is the Deeper One on the In Too Deep show, y'all. Thank you for listening, and I am out.
Thank you for listening to the In Too Deep show with your host, Deeper One.